You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Well, a little bit of a rally there in the ninth, but it wasn't to be. Dodgers come up short. Welcome to the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. I am Pete Fox, covering sports in LA, dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Giants get one here in this series, salvage one, 4-1 the final. Dodgers just didn't have really anything going on offensively against Logan Webb, who drew a line in the sand, if you will, before the game started, saying, I don't know what it is about the Dodgers, but you just don't like these guys. I can't explain it. So there's a lot of talk about this rivalry right now between the Dodgers and the Giants because, you know, the Dodgers are playing well, leading the league. The Giants are dealing with injuries, struggling. And of course, you know, it's that old you hate the team with all the stars thing. You know, the Dodgers are the Yankees West. They spend a lot of money and that makes people hate them. I get it. It makes sense. You know, this rivalry is going to be there no matter what. The Dodgers are bad if they don't spend a lot of money. If the Giants are good and they've done it without spending a lot of money, it doesn't really matter. By the way, tonight's show brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. I saw a couple of women on a Instagram podcast talking about the Dodger-Giant rivalry, and their clip was, you know, it was a very quick little 20 to 30 second clip, and their conversation back and forth was about the Dodger rivalry with the Giants as compared to the Padres. Now, during that series, I commented multiple times that I didn't believe the Dodgers-Giants rivalry even compared to the Dodgers-Padres rivalry, in that the Dodgers-Giants rivalry is much longer, much richer, much more deep-seated, all the way back to their days in New York. And the Dodger-Padre rivalry is, to me, newer, younger, flimsier. But their comment was that the Dodgers-Giants rivalry is more adult, professional, has some respect, whereas the Dodger-Padre rivalry is more gritty and a little bit more mean-spirited. And I mean, I guess I get that. And ultimately, it is hard to say that the Dodgers and Padres don't have a rivalry. I just think it's a bigger rivalry for the Padres. To me, a rivalry, it's much like the Lakers and Clippers thing. The Lakers look at the Clippers and go, yeah, they're not rivals. And to a certain extent, many Clippers feel the same way. We're not their rivals. We haven't done anything to even be in the same ballpark, the same class. We're not even close to the Lakers. So how can it be a rivalry? They have 17 championships. We've never even made it to the finals. So from that perspective, Dodgers Padres is not really a rivalry. It is for the Padres. Dodgers are kind of like, you know, get off my shins, right? It's kind of like a yippy dog, right? Dodgers Giants is real. It has all of the necessary elements to being a real, legitimate, deep-seated hatred and rivalry. Championships, time, you know, the proximity is close enough, you know, sharing the same state, all of that stuff. So, yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting little clip there, but I wouldn't necessarily call the Dodgers Giants rivalry adult and mature. There is probably some respect, but not a lot. You know, I feel like we hate them and they hate us, and that's fine. It is one of the oldest and greatest rivalries in all of sport. It's right up there with Michigan, Ohio State, Yankees, Red Sox. I always struggle a little bit when you come to like the big rivalry in football. Bears, Packers, That one dates back to the beginning of the NFL, but that's the ilk of Dodgers Giants, right? Long time they had a close proximity in New York City, and then they both moved to California right around the same time. So that helped the rivalry continue. There have been plenty of times where the Dodgers are the better team and the Giants win, right? There have been plenty of postseason matchups. Even just 3 or 4 years ago, they both got over 100 wins, and the Giants ended up halting a Dodgers National League West winning streak by winning the West. The Dodgers had to go in as the wild card, but I believe that year the Dodgers went farther in the playoffs than the Giants did. So in the end, the Dodgers won, even though the Giants got the National League West crown. But when Logan Webb says something like, something about these guys you don't like, can't explain it. It's like, yeah, I expect to hear that from somebody. And then he goes out and dominates. So he backed up his trash talk on KNBR today. He went 6 innings, no runs on 3 hits, striking out 5, walking 3. He's now 4-4. As for the Dodger starter, Elieser Hernandez, called up from the minors today, went pretty good, I think. Again, it wasn't terrible. Ultimately, he suffers the loss. He's 0-1. He did go 6, though. 3 runs on 4 hits. One of them a home run to Yastrzemski. He struck out 3. The off-speed stuff was fairly sharp. The slider looked good. It just wasn't dominant, and I don't think the Dodgers are too upset about it. I feel like they're happy based on one fact, one reality about Hernandez's start. It went 6 innings. That's all they cared about. I don't think they needed this win. They didn't feel like they already won the series. This wasn't a make or break, do or die sort of thing for them. The fact that Hernandez burnt 6 innings for them was fantastic and all that they really wanted. And they are happy with his performance. And then Salazar getting in there, also newly called up for the Dodgers, went 2, gave up 1 run on 3 hits, striking out 3. Again, all is well. Everything feels good for them, and they're not too terribly upset. What is Roy here? Does Roy agree with me or disagree? A rivalry is 2 equal opposing forces battling for the same goal. Giants have 8 World Series. Dodgers have 7 World Series. Madres are a nuisance, not a rivalry. It's one-sided. We beat the Madres as expected. Madres beat the Dodgers parade. There you go. All right. Thank you, Roy. I appreciate that. King Sharks. BC says that's a rivalry. Yes, I believe the Kings have 2 cups and the Sharks have 1. Lakers, Warriors. Yes, Warriors have reeled off a bunch of championships of late, and that puts them in the conversation. Lakers, they won 2020. They won the COVID NBA championship, so it's still a championship. The Dodgers' 1 World Series of late is still a World Series. It is maybe a tad bit, is tainted the right word? I don't know. You can't have the conversation and say it's equal to a regular 162 World Series. Some people will argue that it is worth more than a regular 162 World Series because it was harder to win in the bubble. You're not playing at home. There were so many variables involved in them winning that World Series. And at the end of the day, in that 7-game series against Tampa Bay, they had to win that series, right? That was 2 very good teams playing against each other, and the Dodgers came out on top. So as far as I'm concerned, it is a World Series, but you can't say it's equal, the same as a normal 162 World Series without a doubt. Dodgers fall to the Giants. San Francisco salvages 1 in this 3-game set, 4-1 the final. Let's hit the first break and come back and get into the Diamond Dogs list, which is unfortunately filled with a bunch of singles. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. And you can listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. Tonight's show brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience are what bring home the winning trophy in professional sports or amateur sports. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and much more. I've purchased a ton of stuff on eBay Motors, and it always works out very well for me. And more than anything, it saves me money. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts. To keep your number one ride or die running smoothly, you always find exactly what you need and what you're looking for at a bargain. With eBay's guaranteed fit, you're also going to make sure that part is the right part for your ride. And if it's not, you get your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's guaranteed fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right, Dodgers dropped the finale in San Francisco at Oracle, 4-1 the final. Didn't have a ton going on offensively. Scrapped a few out in the final couple of innings there. Got a run on a sac fly. They had 2 on in the 9th. But when you're facing that Doval character, his stuff is absolutely wicked. It's got to be frustrating for him that the Giants bullpen is the worst ERA in Major League Baseball, like 4.8, because that guy seemingly doesn't allow a run. Somehow his ERA is over 3. I don't know how that's even possible with the stuff that he throws. He got James Outman on a strike looking, went from like 102, and then his off speed was 90. When you're throwing 102 and then backing it up with a 90-mile-an-hour changeup, that has to look like it's coming in there at 42 miles an hour. It's crazy. All right, here's tonight's Diamond Dogs list. Shohei Ohtani. And by the way, if you're curious what I mean by tough night at the plate for Shohei Ohtani, it was not because he got a cut. He, wasn't all bad. It was because of those 2 strikeouts he had looking. He was not pleased tonight with the umpiring and disagreed tremendously. And Shohei Ohtani is a guy that knows the strike zone. He doesn't lead the league in walks. He's got 21 walks, which is good for like top 25 in all of baseball. But it's, the leader, I believe, is Aaron Judge with like 39 walks. So he's got a lot, and probably a lot of those come intentionally. But Shohei Ohtani knows the strike zone, and he was none too pleased with those 2 looking Ks. But he did scrap out a couple hits, got one in the 5th, and that's good for number 5 on the Diamond Dogs list. Freddie Freeman, then right after that, roped one into right field. It was a nice, solid base hit for him. Of course, nothing came of that. Mookie Betts' second hit was a single. It came in the 7th. His 4th consecutive multi-hit game, so he's definitely got it rolling again. His batting average is now up to 348. Shohei Ohtani still leading the league at 364, but Betts is hot on his heels, top 5 in all of Major League Baseball as well. Then into the 8th inning, Freddie Freeman on the list again, a leadoff hit, so a multi-hit game for him. Got on base tonight 3 times. And then for number 1, Will Smith plating the only run, a blooper, came in the 8th inning. It was the first hit for the Dodger lineup in the 4 through 9 spots. So kind of a weeknight after the top 3. Betts with 2 hits, Ohtani with 2 hits, Freddie Freeman with 2 hits. And I think that's something that we all expect. And when it doesn't happen, we're kind of like, what the hell happened to the top 3 of the lineup? So I think we're getting a little spoiled with that. But generally speaking, you get some productivity from, the rest of those guys, 4, 5, 6. Teoscar Hernandez 0 for. Muncy was 0 for with a couple of Ks. Hernandez struck out twice. 0 for Gavin Lux. 0 for Andy Pages. His average down to 260. He had 2 strikeouts. So he struck out 6 times in the last 2 games. And James Outman 0 for 3. Did walk. Got on base there and struck out once in the 9th. His average now at 151. As for Ohtani's complete rundown, the Ohtani ticker went like this. He led off the first inning with a walk. Then he struck out looking on a ball that he did not think was a strike. Then a single in the 3rd, struck out his 4th time up looking, which was a definite bad call from Hunter Windelstad. Definitely out of that box you see on the screen there. And then a single in the 9th. which kind of got that rally going a little bit for the Dodgers, but it was halted rather quickly. So, the Giants are probably feeling better about themselves after winning this game. Again, Logan Webb looked very good and got the win. He's now 4-4. He's a Bay Area kid. That's the other thing that I was expecting a little bit more from James Outman. Growing up in the Bay Area, probably more than likely a Giants fan. I have to assume. I mean, the rest of his family is. My friend, who's his uncle, is a huge Giants fan, but now has reluctantly become a Dodger fan because of his nephew. That's got to be weird, right? So, usually when a guy goes to his hometown and playing in front of family, that it usually works out pretty well for them. James Outman is still just struggling. Tentative, can't seem to find the timing. It's just his strikeouts look terrible. He watches too many balls come right down Main Street. He's fooled more often than not. And the more I see what he's doing and not improving, he will more than likely be shipped down to AAA. I had a couple of buddies text me that know of my friend being his uncle, and they're like, yeah, he's heading to AAA sooner before later. As soon as Jason Hayward is healthy, James Outman will be in AAA, trying to find his way. Hopefully he does. It makes sense. It happens all the time. It's just unfortunate that it goes from such a great year last year, like in the talk, in contention for Rookie of the Year, to this. You're just surprised that it's just fallen off of the cliff the way that it has. And that's unfortunate, but it happens. And hopefully the Dodgers don't lose complete faith in him. They send people down all the time, especially pitchers, to find their way, to get their hacks, to gain confidence, and then they call him back up when they need him. And hopefully there'll be a spot for him. I look at Andy Pajas and I say, well, he's not tearing the cover off the ball anymore. So, maybe he has to go back down as well. And that'll give James Outman an opportunity to come back to the major leagues. But I would be really, really, really surprised if James Outman does not see some time in Oklahoma City this year. 151, 274 slugging percentage and a 256 batting average. He's just not putting the ball in play. And in my opinion, there's no sign of it's starting to turn around the way that we've seen it with Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux still hitting the ball hard, got robbed a couple of times tonight, and that's unfortunate. But the good feeling is that he's still making solid contact, had a triple last night, had the average over 200, and has fallen below, now at 194 after an 0 for 4 tonight. So he's showing signs that he's starting to find his way and come out of it. We're not seeing those same signs from James Outman. He's not hitting the ball hard and seeing, did hit a home run a few days ago, but it was like his first home run in 10 games or his first hit in 10 games. So, that's an anomaly. He's going to, screw around and square one up every now and then. Regardless, you have to assume he is a Major League Baseball player, but he's just not showing any confidence. He's not aggressive, and it's really, it doesn't seem like it's just right around the corner for him. They talked about giving these guys at the bottom of the lineup, especially Gavin Lux, 150 at bats. They're coming up on 110. I don't know if Outman is in the same category as Gavin Lux, because Gavin Lux is coming off of an injury and Outman is a second-year player. I have a feeling the rope is a little bit shorter for James Outman than it is for Gavin Lux. As for Andy Pajas, I don't know how long that rope is either. He's been slumping over the last few, but his average still pretty decent at 260. So if he can find some hits in the next few games, I have a feeling they'll keep him around and probably find a space for James Outman once Jason Hayward comes back. And speaking of getting robbed, how about Teoscar Hernandez? Man, that had to sting. That ball that Matos caught was over the fence. I mean, I was thinking about the play that Yastrzemski made in game 1, that sellout dive in right field. That was fantastic. I looked at this ball and I said, is that a better catch? To me, I didn't play a ton of outfield when I played junior college baseball. I was an infielder, but selling out for a ball or on the dead run to jump over the fence and pull it back. Those are two equally difficult plays. I don't know which one's harder. I feel like the getting up over the fence and keeping your eyes on the ball and tracking it into the glove is just a tad bit harder because you have to time the jump, right? Whereas when you're running and you're diving, yeah, you're timing the jump there as well, but you don't have to deal with the fence. The fence is, in my opinion, makes it considerably more difficult. But either way, Teoscar Hernandez absolutely robbed. News here from Jeff and Vince with Locked On Dodgers. They'll be on live on their channel once I am done. Very, very cool. Thank you for the heads up on that. BC sharing the good news about the top three. 6 of the 7 hits for the Dodgers were Betts, Ohtani, and Freeman, which, yeah, we kind of expect that, but you need a little bit more. And it just did. Again, we've talked about this a lot. For whatever reason, the Dodgers don't seem to show up in the third game of a series, especially when they've won the series. It is just not their jam. Getaway day, coming back home, facing the Reds tomorrow. You know, they're just like smelling the barn. I'm out of here. Don't really care about this one. All good. We're still leading comfortably. Don't need it. Don't care. Whatever. Right? It's unfortunate, but I feel like it's a reality. It's probably an unspoken thing. I would more than assume that is not something they discuss or ever comes up at all. They just have this thing that kind of goes on in the back of their head in the third game of a series, especially when they've won the first two, that they just don't have the same intensity, even against the Giants. 4-1 the final tonight as the Giants salvage one at Oracle. They're now 20-25, 12-10 at home. Dodgers 29-16, 14-8 on the road. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast. We come on after the game and break it down for you on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. And you can listen to us wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. And again, Jeff and Vince with Locked On Dodgers will be on right after doing their thing live tonight. So be sure to check that out as well. All right. Tonight's show also brought to you by PrizePicks. What is PrizePicks? Well, it's a lot of fun. That's what it is. It's America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. You can pick more or less. I always tend to pick more. I always want it to be more, right? Unless it's the other team, right? When I'm picking Dodgers, I'm going more, even if it's not a smart selection. You got to pick at least 2. You can go up to 6 players and their stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. Demons and Goblins are the newest thing, most exciting way to play PrizePicks. With the Demons, you get more payout, higher odds, therefore more payout. Goblins are a little bit easier, a little bit friendlier, don't pay out quite as much, but it makes, it can help you get to a successful stat projection and a win. It's the newest thing happening on PrizePicks. You're looking for the red demons or the green goblins, and it gets you different payouts. And now you can win up to 100 times your money if you pick 4 correct red demons. And if you go down that road, you have got some serious huevos rancheros right there. I would never go down that road. I did throw one out for the PGA Championship, which gets underway tomorrow in Louisville, Kentucky at Valhalla. I went with Scotty Scheffler and Brooks Koepka below. In golf, it's different. I just said I don't like to go above. No, I'm going below in golf. Their number is 69.5. I think those guys, and the par at that course is 71. So I think they'll easily shoot 2 under, and I will be a winner. But I will definitely report back to you tomorrow night after the Dodgers Reds game 1 right here on the Locked On Dodgers postcast. So quick deposits, easy withdrawals. My additional deposit was very painless and hassle-free, and I got that 100% bonus, which you can get as well. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnMLB. Use the code LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. PrizePicks. It is that easy. All right, Dodgers lose to the Giants as San Francisco salvages one in this series, 4-1. It's their first win against the Dodgers this year. And I think, what was the number there? 4th win against the Dodgers in San Francisco. And I don't even know, it was 16 games or something crazy like that. So the Dodgers have definitely been dominating the Giants, whether it's in LA or in San Francisco of late. So there's not a whole lot to complain about. Elieser L, let's just call him L. That's what it says on the box score. Hernandez, I thought, came into the game. They weren't looking for much for him. They called it a bullpen day. He got off to a very nice start, 3 scoreless innings, and everything was rolling along for him. Then he gave up that 2-run home run, or was it a 3-run home run to Yastrzemski? Yeah, 2-run home run. That was in the bottom of the third. So not 3 scoreless, 2 scoreless. Ramos doubled in Estrada in the 6th to make it 3-0. So there were the 3 runs that he gave up. And that pitch to Ramos was an absolute silver platter. Full count fastball, just grooved down Main Street. Doesn't get much prettier or easier for Ramos than that. The RBI double was tailor-made. He just set it on a platter for him, on a tee, if you will. Here you go, Ramos. Have at it. And he did. So kudos to him. Ohtani got some tough calls. 2 strikeouts looking that he did not agree with at all. And, he backed it up with 2 hits, so you can't really complain too much. He's a little bit greedy, but that's what we love about him, right? Mookie Betts led off the game with a hit, and then things went a little cold for the Dodgers after that. So Mookie's definitely got it rolling again. His average up to 348, another 2-hit game, his 4th consecutive multi-hit game. Ohtani went 2 for 4, his average at 364, leading the league. Freddie Freeman 2 for 4 with a run scored, 1 walk, 1 K. He's batting 297, 408 on base percentage, and a 455 slugging percentage. Will Smith, 1 for 3, now batting 315. He was the only guy 4 through 9 that got a hit. Muncy, Hernandez, Lux, Pajes, and Outman all over. So, every night can't be 10-2. That was fun last night, and this is what we get for that. It's like when you're playing golf and you make a birdie, usually back it up with a bogey, right? When you're a weekend hack anyway. All right, that'll do it for tonight's Locked On Dodgers postcast. Don't forget, Jeff and Vince doing their Locked On Dodgers podcast live here in just a little bit on their channel. I will be back with you tomorrow after the Dodgers-Reds game, which is in LA. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for downloading the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We do appreciate you, and make Locked On your first listen every morning, your team every day. Tyler Glasnow going tomorrow. I'm going to get a PrizePicks in on him one way or the other, unless they don't put it up. And they have a tendency to not put up guys that dominate and make it a little bit harder on you. But hopefully we can find something from Tyler Glasnow, because he's absolutely rolling. So that's going to be fun to watch tomorrow night. We'll talk afterwards. Thanks for joining me. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast. We will talk again tomorrow night. Have a good one.